So here we need to find out the value of the given trig expression. Let us begin. So we are given here the expression 16 times cosine of the angle 2 pi over 50 multiplied to cosine of the angle 4 pi over 15 times cosine of the angle 8 pi over 15 multiplied to cosine of the angle 14 pi over 15. Now what we'll do, we'll convert the radian measures to degree measures, and that will become easier for us to solve the problem. So here we have let's start with 2 pi over 15 degrees. So what we'll do, we'll replace the value of pi with 180 degrees to convert it to radians. So 2 times 180 degrees divided by 15, and that's going to give us a value 24 degrees. That means 2 pi over 15 radians is equivalent to 24 degrees, which means our expression is now 16 times cosine of 24 degrees multiplied to cosine of, so here we have double of 2 pi over 15, so that means we have 48 degrees. Then we have double of 48 degrees, that corresponds to 96 degrees, and we have cosine double of 96 degrees, so double of 96 will be 168 degrees. Okay, so what we'll do here, we're going to take two cosine functions at a time. So here we'll take cosine of angle 96 degrees and cosine of angle 24 degrees. Let's say this is going to be one combined set. So here we'll take a factor 2 from 16. So that means we have 8 left here, but again we'll take another factor 2 and multiply the remaining two cosine functions. So we have cosine of 48 degrees times cosine of 168 degrees. So in total we have taken 4 factors, so that means we are left with another factor 4. Fine. The reason why we wrote in this particular fraction, because this is a formula. We know for a fact that whenever we have 2 times cosine of angle A multiplied to cosine of angle B, that corresponds to cosine of the angle A plus B added to cosine of the angle A minus B, which means that we can now express 2 times cosine of 96 degrees times cosine of 24 degrees as cosine of the angle 96 added to 24. So 96 added to 24 is 120 degrees. Added to cosine of, now we will subtract 24 degrees from 96 degrees, so that will give us a value of 72 degrees. Then we have 2 times cosine of 48 times cosine 160. So let's first take cosine and add the two angles, 48 degree added to 168 degrees, so that will correspond to 216 degrees. Plus cosine of the angle, now we'll subtract 48 degrees from 168 degrees, so that gives us 120 degrees. Okay, fine. So now we have 4 times cosine of 120 degrees, that has a standard value of -1/2, added to, now we have cosine 72 degrees, but we know that cosine of 72 degrees, that's equivalent to sine 18 degrees, because we can convert 72 degrees as 90 degrees minus 18 degrees, and cosine of 90 minus theta, that's simply sine theta. So that means cosine 72 degrees will be equivalent to sine 18 degree. So we can replace this cosine 72 with sine 18 degree. Then we have cosine of 216 degree. So here cosine of 216 degrees, that corresponds to cosine of the angle 180 degree added to 36 degrees, which means that we have cosine of 180 plus theta. So cosine of 180 plus theta corresponds to negative cosine 36 degrees. We can now have negative cosine 36 degree in place of 216 degrees. And cosine 120 degree, that corresponds to -1/2. So this becomes 4 times negative of half minus sine 18 degree. And then cosine 36 degree added to 1/2. So that will give us, so we have 4 multiplied to half minus sine 18 degree multiplied to, this is half added to cosine 36 degrees. Fine. Now we have a standard value for each of sine 18 degree as well as cosine 36 degree. So let's note them down. So sine of 18 degree, that corresponds to the value square root of 5 minus 1 divided by 4. And cosine of 36 degree corresponds to square root of 5 added to 1 divided by 4. We'll use this value. So we now have 4 multiplied to half minus square root of 5 minus 1 divided by 4. Thus we'll get multiplied to half added to square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 4. So we have 4 multiplied to the denominator will be 4. In the numerator, we have 3 minus square root of 5. And half added to square root of 5 plus 1 over 4, that's going to give us 3 added to square root of 5. So we can factor out 1 4 from the numerator and the denominator. And now we have 3 minus square root of 5 multiplied to 3 plus square root of 5. So that's simply 3 squared minus square root of 5 whole squared divided by 4. So 9 minus 5, that will be 4. So we're 4 divided by 4, which gives us the final result of 1. So that means the value of the trig expression 16 times cosine of 2 pi over 15 times cosine of 4 pi over 15 times cosine of 8 pi over 15 times cosine of 14 pi over 15. This will be equals to 1.